Alrighty, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of After the Buzzer. Two, as usual, not close games, but not major blowouts, as we will start out here with the Suns versus Nuggets game 3. Phoenix was up 2-0 going into this game. It was a must-win game for the Nuggets, as obviously no team in NBA history has come back from being down 3-1, or 3-0 in a playoff series. And this just kind of improbable to win 4 games in a row considering it's against a team who took a 3-0 lead against you. But Phoenix was able to take this game 3 away from the Nuggets by 14, 116 to 102. It was again Devin Booker. The man's played the most minutes out of in the NBA, these NBA playoffs, and he was being Devin Booker again, dropped 28 points. CP3, of course, being the guy he is with 27, 8 assists right behind him. Um, this time, everybody stepped up. You have Mikal Bridges with 11 points, who was 50% from the field. He was also obviously defending guys like he usually does out there, talently. And Jay Crowder was pretty much on today, 4 for 6 from 3-point range with 14 points. And DeAndre Ayton had 10 and 15 rebounds. So he's becoming that Rudy Gobert for this Suns team because this it's basically what they need. They really don't need scoring as you have Devin Booker and Chris Paul, who are, starting out with Devin Booker, who can already give you 30 per night. And he doesn't really do much on the defending end. Of course, he does stuff, but he's not like the Mikal Bridges that this Suns team also has. Chris Paul's he's an insane scorer and playmaker, and he's also good on the defensive end, which is why he's so valuable to any team you put him on. Jay Crowder's good on both ends, offensively and defensively. He can give you 15 to 20 a night, plus give you good defensive stats. And like I said, like I always say, it's not even in the stats book. You need to watch the game to see how these guys do on defense. And like I always say, Mikal Bridges, he gives you at least 10 a night, plus being great on defense for whoever you put him on. Even if Jamal Murray was in this series, I would not be surprised if the Suns won this series. I'm not sure if they would be playing each other at this moment. If Jamal Murray played, because they could be at the number 2 seed for all we know. Although I do think that the Suns were kind of far ahead of the Nuggets, but I think that Mikal Bridges would do a pretty good job guarding Jamal Murray, anyways. And seeing how this team is preventing Jokic so much from, you're not really preventing him if I'm being honest. He still ended up dropping 32 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists. So it's not like they're doing that great of a job preventing him, but they're just doing such a good job preventing the rest of the team that not him can do it himself. And the bench being good as always with Sarge with 7, Torrey Craig with 5, and Cam Johnson with 3, Cameron Payne with 9. And, it's just the usual guys scoring off the bench, who's Cameron Payne has had a great year this season, and he's been doing good these playoffs, so he's been looking pretty nice for them. And he's young, too. He's 26 years old, so it's not like he's at his prime peak soon. But yeah, the Nuggets have just not been doing too good this series. Jokic has been just going off. Like I said, 32 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists. That's just insane. You throw along a block in there, and he still ended up with 2 turnovers, which isn't too much considering how much you're passing and rebounding and just scoring. Like Campazzo only had 6, Austin Rivers with 5, Aaron Gordon had 4. They did not trade some of their young guys just for Aaron Gordon to drop 4 points. And MPJ only, I say only because I do expect him to step up majorly. I would expect 20 to 25 per night from him, but he only had 15, which is where I think he needs to step up. And off the bench, Monte Morris and Will Barton have been doing a good job. Will Barton, of course, was out for the first 2 games of the series. He came back game 3. He was a pretty good impact. And he's been pretty good in this game 3, and he was pretty good in game 3 too. So, but he's not the X factor in this series that's gonna turn it around for Denver. I think that everybody's got to step up, and it's mainly like Aaron Gordon and MPJ, and some guys off the bench you could throw maybe like JaMychal Green or there's not really too many people else because you see Will Barton and Monte Morris. They're the ones really getting the main minutes off the bench, and they're stepping up when they need to. But we move on to the next game, the Hawks versus the Sixers. Now, this series was tied 1-1, of course, with the Hawks winning game 1 and Philly winning game 2. Now, could this just be a fluke as the Hawks would win game 1, or would it actually mean something? We go into this game 3 as it's a big one, and the Hawks are up decent after the first quarter. They're up 8, and then the Hawks kind of make a push, make it a 5-point game at halftime, and then the Sixers just completely obliterate them in the third, 34-19, outscore them by, if I do the math right, 15 points, and then the Hawks make a little push in the fourth, but it's not enough as the Sixers win 127-111 by 16 points. Trae Young's been doing whatever he can in the series to try to have Atlanta give them a chance. Bogdanovich has been doing really, really good. Other than in game 2, I think he was like 0 for 7 or something. He was like 2 for 19. I don't know. He had a really bad stat line though. But he had 19 this game. John Collins had 23 and 7. He's been doing like, I swear, dude, John Collins is missing such easy shots that he could be making, and it doesn't look that bad because he still ends up with 23 points on 10 for 14 shooting from the field, but I think that he could definitely end up with more points if he gets more shots up and if he gets the ball more, because like Clint Capella had 16 rebounds. That's literally all he does. Like Solomon Hill in 14 minutes, you can't only have 1 point, and anybody else off the bench. I mean, Gallinari had 17. He was not too bad. Lou Will had 8, and other than that, really nobody is playing out of their mind. Kevin Huerter was 1 for 5 from 3-point range. He only had 3 points. He was not the Kevin Huerter that this Hawks team needed this game. He's usually stepping up with at least 15, 20 points per game. But he was just not on tonight. He was just missing every single shot. And Danny Green was just now out for... He left in like the first, second quarter, and now he's out for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So he could be out for until the Eastern Conference Finals or the championship if Philly can get there. But Danny Green was a big part, being their 3-point specialist, other than Seth Curry, that's a pretty big part of their team, because he only did play 4 minutes as I'm looking now. Embiid being, typical MVP, 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists, with Tobias Harris dropping 22 casually, Seth Curry with 12, and Ben Simmons with 18 and 7. And Dwight Howard off the bench, he had 12. Korkmaz did play more than needed because, of course, like I said, Danny Green was out, so he dropped 14. He played 27. I'm not too sure who's going to start in place of Danny Green because their lineup right now is Simmons, Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Embiid. So I think Danny Green's playing the 3 unless it's Curry, but I doubt that. So I think maybe they start a guy like maybe I think it's either going to be Shake Milton or Matisse Thybulle. I have a feeling it's going to be Thybulle just to add some defense there, as Danny Green can do that, because as you saw in Game 1, they opened the series on Danny Green guarding Trae Young, and it didn't really work out. They switched back onto Simmons after the first half, but I mean, you see how Doc Rivers can trust Danny Green to put their biggest threat, Trae Young, on being guarded by Danny Green in that to start the series out. But yeah, I mean, Atlanta's got to step up, mainly Kevin Huerter in this game number 4. And if you go down 3-0 to Philly, I really don't think that there is any coming back. But they now lead 2-1. Game 4 is on Monday. And I think that Philly should be able to win that game. I would not be surprised if Atlanta did, because Nate McMillan has been doing a really good job coaching this team. And it'll be kind of cool to see the Hawks maybe take this team to 7 or 6, but yeah, and the Suns end up taking game number 3 from Denver, and they now lead the series 2-0. So it's looking like the Nuggets season could be coming to a close. Kind of sucks, but the Heat being eliminated, that was the team that I kind of wanted to win. And now I don't really have any other teams, so I'm just hoping for some good playoff series. That's why I said I would love for the Hawks to maybe take this number 1 seed to 6 or 7, but yeah, tonight we only have one game, unfortunately. Jazz Clippers starts in a couple minutes, so we're going to try to get this video out soon. I think that the Clippers are going to win. Hopefully I can come back to this video, say I was right, but I think that the Clippers are going to win, and we'll make a prediction. We'll say 126-115. So very close to this Sixers and Hawks score. But that'll wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Peace.